It's the end of the day with Ray. Hello, my friends. Hey, in that intersection today, I have Greg Kaplan, the king of solutions, as I call him. Greg, how are you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, Ray. Great to be here. Thanks for having me again.
Well, I love having you on, Greg. You know, last time Greg was on, it was a couple weeks ago. We suggested to the dealer owners that they have their sales reps call all those internal customers that work in the dealership, as we're all spread around remotely, and understand the business processes of the dealership itself. Hopefully they've done that because it'll help them have better conversations with end users. But we were talking the other day, and you mentioned that you had talked to a CTO and a CFO of an organization there in Chicago, and the conversation was kind of interesting, so I wanted you to share that, and we'll take it from there. This is a great conversation.
Sure. So I took our advice and I reached out to some folks I know, and they were C-level at a manufacturing company in Northern Illinois here, and they had some interesting comments. First of all, they knew and they referred to their MFP as a printer. Mm-hmm. They knew who their printer manufacturer is, but they did not know the name of who their printer or MFP dealer is. And then I talked to them about the flow of information, and that dealers do more than just deal with devices and paper. They deal with information, and it goes beyond paper. Some of them have sophisticated solutions organizations that can talk to them about applications, workflow, security. And they said, yeah, I take those calls. We'd be interested in those conversations because you know what, Ray? Everybody wants to lower costs, but they didn't really care about lowering the cost of a product or a page or anything like that. They wanted to talk about gaining efficiencies.
Interesting. So realistically, to my story, if they replace the oversold A3s with A4s, even if the supply cost a little bit more, but they could get deeper solutions, they could care less. But here's something that I took out of that, which was very, very interesting. I know you have a slide you want to show, but we'll do that in a minute. But when you listen to what Greg said he talked to these C-level executives. They would take the calls. Here's something that everybody in the imaging channel must pay attention to. We are going post-pandemic into uncharted waters. I wrote an article and I talked about how we have to create that new normal. Well, your customers have to create their new normal too. And guess what they're doing? They're looking for people that can help them create the new normal. They're not looking for people that are going to continue the same way they used to. There's not a purchasing department person in the world that's sitting in the boardroom trying to come up with a strategy for a company that just went through a pandemic. Those purchasing people that you've been dealing with for the last 10 years, guess what? They're going to do whatever those C-levels say, and it's up to the friends in the imaging channel, the IT services channel, to help those conversations along at that C-level spot. This is a fantastic opportunity. Never in the history of our channel have we had an opportunity to go to the C level. This is a fantastic opportunity. Show me that slide you show me because it's a very compelling story that I think we need to share.
Yeah, I agree, Ray. You know, one of your other themes you talk about is that the difference between customer-centric and product-centric. So when we talk about solutions in the dealer channel, this is a snapshot of maybe what they're selling, right? Reps are talking to the customers about products, and we need to stop pitching a solution until we know the problem we're solving.
Well, here's the reality, my friends. You can see this slide. Everything above these blue lines that point to the device in the middle here, these are all about printing. These are all these software applications really developed to help us do what? Sell more print devices. But here's a question I'm going to ask everybody out there. If your end users haven't used your solution in the last couple of months, how valuable is that solution to you? And as you can see by Greg's chart here, all these other solutions, guess what? They're using those every day more than likely. They're using those every day because all these other solutions, guess what they're about? They're about the information. They're not about the document. And I think that's an important slide that you share. And it's an important message that our friends really need to pay attention to. And it's, I don't know how we can get them from thinking of these solutions as products. A lot of them, what they do is they take one of those solutions above that blue line, and they run around and they sell it like it's an accessory to a copier. The accessories used to be sorters and document feeders, and now there's some kind of, scan solution. But, Greg, you worked for a solution provider for a long time. You called on dealerships. Tell us a little bit about that business model and why it's just failed miserably. Because at the end of the day, there's not a dealer in the country, there might be 20% at the best, that are knocking it out of the park with even the solutions that were above the blue line.
Yeah, Ray, it's such a small percentage of a dealer's business, and we get into this conundrum about dealers don't want to sell it because they don't make money, they don't sell enough. So if you're the software vendor and you have 500 dealer partners that sell one or two applications or systems a year, software vendor's doing okay. The dealer says, well, I'm not making any money, we don't sell a lot. So we need to break out of that box. The challenge is there's a lot of good software sales reps. A lot of them are my friends, but they're in there giving the dealers the tools to sell their product. Here we are again, leading with products before we even know the problem.
Well, they'll tell the dealer things like, because we've all heard it, right? Hey, we're here to make you successful because if you're successful, we're going to be successful. I say, well, not really, because if you got 2,000 partners or 1,000 partners, they all sell a couple a year, you're going to do pretty well. Of course, that doesn't help the dealer move the needle at all. So hopefully coming out of this, do you think we'll see some consolidation with some of these software providers and some of these solutions providers coming out of this?
It would not surprise me. There's, like in the hardware side, there's a lot of supply. There's a lot of vendors with some significant overlap on the product, and they have different routes to market. Some use different distributors. Some go directly to dealers. So there is opportunity for consolidation for sure.
Well, I got to tell you, Greg, I think dealers need to be reaching out to people like yourself that understand solution-based selling, that understand the solutions themselves, and more importantly, we have to decide as an industry, how do we create something different? Because we cannot, for 1 second, go back to the way things were, where we're, selling these things as one-offs. We're not making any money. Dealerships have to understand how they can make profit off the damn revenue they put out in the marketplace. So is there anything you want to add before we wrap this up?
Yeah, one last comment. I believe the dealers are perfectly positioned to have that next level discussion with the C-level. Dealers deal with information, but they stop at the document level. They stop at paper. So it's not a big leap to have the next discussion about systems, applications, and networks and workflow. So, any questions or they have any concern, they can reach out to us. We're happy to help.
Well, like I said, reach out to Greg. He knows his stuff. That's why I call him the king of solutions. My friends, I'm going to end this like I always do. Status quo's the killer of all that'll be invented. Don't get stuck in status quo. Have a fantastic day.